Hey everyone, today, this video has probably been a long time in waiting, mostly because, I didn't have the data to shoot proper videos for the time on my phone because I was out of space. I unfortunately had to delete Vanguard 0, but whatever. That game isn't really like the real version of Vanguard anyway. Anyway, rambling. Today, the deck profile will be on my main deck for the, Overdress series of Vanguard. Overdress deck. The main deck of the whole series. Okay. And I've got the main character sleeves. But first we'll go over the ride deck. For my starter, I'm using Trickstar, mostly because to get that second guaranteed Trickstar for the grade 3 turn, plus I find it a whole lot better than the 50% chance to draw a card if you're going second is not that great. This guarantees you a Trickstar at least. Always. Next we've got Reno. It's the grade 1 of the ride line. When it's rode upon by Ryu, you can search for a Trickstar and call it. This, again, guarantees you another Trickstar, which is important. And then its other skill, since it's not really on the rear guard or anything like that, it doesn't really come into play. Next up, this is Ryu. With her, when she's rode upon by Chakravarti, Divine Dragon, Nirvana, Soul Blast 1, to search for a Varina. Unfortunately, it can't be any of the Varinas we have available. It has to be specifically the original Varina. And put it into your hand, and then that guarantees you an Overdress. And of course, the main grade 3 Nirvana herself, or itself. Well, I don't know. Kind of looks like a girl dragon to me. Once per turn, discard a card from your hand, choose a grade 1 card from your drop and call it. Obviously, you'll be calling this little guy Trickstar almost 100% of the time. And then when it attacks Counterblast 1, this unit and all your units with Overdress get an extra 10k, which is really good. See, I know it's pretty basic for a grade 3 unit, but, it's not really the point of this whole deck. It's the Overdress cards. And then, of course, for the main deck, 3 more copies of Nirvana. 3 Valiente. This was originally a 4 of. However, I decided to drop it down to 3 because it's not the main Overdress target anymore, unfortunately, even though it looks cool. Anyway, Overdress Trickstar, or a grade 3 or less unit with the Overdress state. This gets 5k for each of this unit's original dress. Original dress is the units under it. And then once per turn, when the attack of this unit in the Overdress state hits, Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and stand this unit. It's essentially a rear guard overlord. It's really fun, and that's honestly why I'm keeping it in this deck, because it really reminds me of Overlord. Next up is 2 copies of this guy, Blaze Fist Monk Damari. I'm not really seeing many lists run this guy, even though he was kind of hyped up early on when the set was announced. At the end of the battle, this unit attack, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your opponent's front or rear guards and retire it, and if your Vanguard is Chakravarti, Divine Dragon, Nirvana, the main grade 3, choose up to 1 grade 0 unit from your drop and call it to rear guard. Only running this as a 2 of, mostly because it's mostly supposed to be for a finishing turn, so don't really need many of this guy, or else he'll just clog the deck. And now for the new main Overdress target of the deck, and a really, really good card. Varina or Elgar, something like that. Overdress Trickstar, blah 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 blah, from hand. the end of the battle, your Trickstar attacked a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is Nirvana, Soul Blast 2, overdress this card on Trickstar, and then stand it and countercharge 1. So this essentially gives you an extra attack, which is fun. Really reminds me of Chrono Dragon Next Stage. If this unit is in the overdress state, this unit gets an extra 10k and attack and shield. Really good. Easily the best card in the deck right now. Another Varina. Varina Arcs. Overdress on Trickstar. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if it overdressed, counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, and then it gets an extra 5k. This is your draw power in the deck. So yeah. I know ideally maybe 4, but my version of the deck, since I'm running that grade 3 monk, I think that's good enough. Next up, 3 copies of the original Varina. This guy's more or less a beat stick, and you can also place it over, you can place Valiente over it and Arcs. When this is a unit in the overdress state attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets an extra 10k, so that's good. And then Soul Blast 2 to choose one of your opponent's rearguard and retire it. Especially in this version of the deck, since we have Elgar already Soul Blasting 2 and the Monk Soul Blasting 1. That retire skill will almost never come up. He's mostly just hitting your opponent hard. Another choice. Well, not really an attack choice. I've been seeing a few people run this. Blaze Main Aruna. During the battle that this boosted to grade 0, it gets an extra 5k to make those attacks with Trickstar just a little bit more stronger. It's really needed, especially since Trickstar is only a 5k unit. This will help that Trickstar hit. Next up is Tentrastad. I was kind of debating on if I'm going to run this guy. Still not really sold on him in this version of the build, but he's here for now. Other choices I'd imagine you could make is more copies of Varuna, maybe putting in more Arcs, maybe another of the Monk, really, or even if you want to, you can put in an extra original Varina. There's a lot of cards. You can put in more Renos or Rayus. You can burn Bright Pure Prayers. That's not really in this version of the deck anymore. But, yeah, this guy helps you search out more of your Vanguards. Nirvana, which is kind of needed. But, that's what he's here for. Next up is Perfect Guards. This is needed. You need this to stop big attacks, eventually, especially involving the Overtrigger. 3 more Trickstars. Trickstar is the whole point of this deck. You need him. Next up is 7 crits. Four heals. And actually, 4 of the new front trigger. This one has a skill. Vanguard is grade 3. It gains an extra 5k shield. And then, of course, last but not least, the Overtrigger. This is Dragon Empire's Overtrigger. Its bonus skill is choose one of your Vanguards and it stands. Woo! And, well, I'd say that's about it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it.